Hey, welcome back to C++ with Miyoshi. I want to talk a little bit more about strings today. Strings are really important. They're not quite a fundamental data type, as I said before, but we can think about them that way. But I wanted to talk about a little bit more about how they are stored and how we can think of them as a series of characters together. So when you think about a string, and here I have a string and I call it name and I put my first name in there. So I declared and initialized it in the same swoop. And remember, when you initialize a string, you want to use double quotes. And if I did this in two steps, if I had string name and then I did name assigned value, it's the same thing, right? But I could do it in two different ways. But what happens here is that strings, they are a bunch of characters associated with each other with the same name, with the same identifier name. So here I have the name of my variable, or the name of my string, and these are what we call subscripts. So in the memory locations associated with name, I have the M is the 0th character, the I is the first character, the C is the second, H is the third, etc. And they're numbered starting at 0. So they're what we call 0 indexed. So the first index is 0, second index is 1, etc., all the way down to 6. Now, notice that in this case, there are 7 characters, but but they're numbered 0 through 6. And you have to kind of get used to, counting from 0 in computer science and computer programming, because that's how we do it. Okay? So, one of the great things, just remember that they are the same, they all have the same name. They are a bunch of different characters, but they have the same name, just different indices to let you know where they are in the string. Okay? So now let's say that I want to output not all of my name. Let's say I want to output just part of my name. I could do something like for int I is 0, I less than 5, then I plus, this should be plus plus, not minus minus. I plus plus. What that's going to do, and then I have two different printfs here, but I have one commented out, notice. I can use this printf %c in double quotes, and then comma, name with the square brackets, and that's the same brackets I used over here, but these brackets say, hey, go to index I. So whatever index I is, that's the one we're going to print out. And it's just a character, so we're just going to print out the character. This is the same thing, but we use the .at notation in this case. And I could use either one of these two, that's why I have one of them commented out, because I don't want to print them twice. And that would work great. Now what if though my name, let's say I use this as, maybe I want to print out the first 9, because we always want to print out the first 9 characters of our name. Then maybe what I could do is, my name doesn't have 9 characters in it. So what I can do is, I could do and I is less than name dot size. This makes sure that if my name, this dot size, what that says is whatever the size of my string is, that's what's going to be that number. So in this case, the size of my string is 7, so that size would be 7. So this says as long as I is less than 7, go ahead and print it out. If it's not less than 7, then it's going to drop out of the loop and go do something else, the next thing. So this would make sure that I print out either the first 9 characters or up to however big the name is. And that's how this does that. So the and says make sure that it's not that and it's not that. Make sure it is that, and as long as that's true, it will keep printing it out. If it's not, if it's either greater than or equal to 9 or greater than or equal to size, if I, the index, is greater than or equal to either of those things, it will drop out of the loop and go on to the next thing and go along this merry way. So, make sure that you are using strings to your best advantage with this dot size, with the dot at, and the square brackets to tell you where the index is if you want to do those things. Remember, you can change or just display stuff with either of these guys. And just remember that even though we think about strings as a fundamental data type for the most part, we need to also remember that it is a bunch of memory locations with single characters in it that are held together by a name and these indices. And that's really what strings are. They're more complicated than that, of course, but that's really how we think about them. Kind of sort of a fundamental data type, but remember, there are a bunch of characters with the same name, separated, they're differentiated by their index in that string. So that's strings in a nutshell. They're wonderful and they're powerful, and they are nearly fundamental or primitive data types. So you can use them as such, and you can use them to great advantage. So strings, use them well, use them, have some fun with them, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on C++ with Miyoshi.